I will never forget the moment I realized that the woman I had loved and trusted for 31 years had betrayed me. That fateful evening, when I decided to come home early from work, I had no idea I was about to open a Pandora's box filled with secrets that would turn my life upside down. As I share my story with you, I find it difficult to revisit each detail, but I promise, you will be just as shocked as I was by the pain of betrayal, the plan for revenge, and the way I outmaneuvered my unfaithful wife in court. What happened next changed my life forever, and the decision I made in the end will leave you amazed. Our early years of marriage had been wonderful. I worked as an elementary school teacher, my schedule was predictable, and my wife, Terry, was deeply involved in her fitness routines. Every Tuesday, I would come home late due to staff meetings that ran until 4 p.m. Terry would usually return from her gym session exhausted, and I'd often help her with dinner. But one particular Tuesday, everything changed. My meeting was unexpectedly cancelled, and I decided to surprise her by coming home early. I imagined preparing dinner together, enjoying a quiet evening, and rekindling the intimacy that had been slipping away between us. However, what I walked into that night shattered every illusion I had about our marriage. When I stepped through the front door, I immediately sensed something was off. Terry's purse was on the kitchen counter, her gym clothes and a large towel were carelessly tossed onto the floor. A strange uneasiness crept over me as I made my way upstairs, where muffled sounds were coming from our bedroom. As I climbed each step, my heart pounded in my chest. Then I saw them, men's clothes strewn across the hallway, and among them, Terry's delicate lingerie, the kind she only wore on special occasions. Every muscle in my body tensed as I reached the bedroom door. Peeking inside, I was confronted with the undeniable truth. Terry was in bed with another man. The scene before me burned into my memory. My mind raced between shock, anger, and devastation. But instead of storming in, I made a split-second decision. I pulled out my phone and recorded everything. I knew this evidence would be crucial when the time came to confront her. I left the house in a daze, walking aimlessly through the streets until I found myself in a park. Sitting on a bench, I played the video over and over again, as if trying to convince myself that this nightmare was real. When I finally returned home, Terry noticed my somber expression and asked if something was wrong. I lied, telling her I wasn't feeling well and needed to sleep in the guest room. The thought of lying next to her, knowing what she had done, was unbearable. Over the next few days, I watched her closely, searching for clues. Was this a one-time betrayal or something deeper? The following Tuesday, I pretended to go to my staff meeting but instead parked my car a few blocks away and walked back home. Hiding in the shadows, I waited. As expected, a man arrived and entered our house. My stomach turned. The man was Terry's fitness trainer, Phil. Their affair had been going on for a while, right under my nose. The tension in our home became unbearable. I kept up the act, pretending everything was fine while secretly gathering more evidence. Terry, completely unaware that I knew, tried to reach out to me one evening. "Jed, you've been distant lately. Is everything okay?" she asked, her voice tinged with concern. I looked at her, resisting the urge to expose her lies on the spot. "It's just been a stressful time at work," I said flatly. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Her touch, once comforting, now felt like poison. "Maybe we should go on a vacation, just the two of us," she suggested, as if a getaway could undo the damage she had done. The irony of her words almost made me laugh. "I'll think about it," I replied, my voice colder than I intended. Determined to get more proof, I took a week off work and installed hidden cameras in the house, one in the bedroom, one in the living room, and one in the garage. I also used a remote listening device to record their conversations. The footage I collected over the next few days was gut-wrenching. Watching Terry embrace Phil in our home, listening to their whispered conversations, it was like a dagger twisting in my chest. One recording, in particular, sealed her fate. "Do you think he'll find out?" Terry asked in a shaky voice. Phil chuckled. "He's too busy to notice what's going on right under his nose." Their arrogance fueled my resolve. I met with my lawyer, and together, we devised a strategy. We would serve Terry the divorce papers in a way she'd never expect, ensuring she couldn't manipulate the situation. On the morning of our confrontation, I felt an eerie sense of calm. As Terry sat at the kitchen table, sipping her coffee, I placed an envelope in front of her. "What's this?" she asked, frowning as she opened it. I watched as her face paled. Jed, what is this? Why are you doing this? I exhaled slowly, keeping my voice steady. I know, Terry. I know about you and Phil. I've seen the videos. I've heard the conversations. She gasped, her eyes wide with shock. You've been spying on me? I had to, I said, my voice cracking. You left me no choice. Our marriage is over. The days that followed were a blur of legal proceedings, negotiations, and heartache. But in the end, justice prevailed. With the undeniable evidence I had collected, I secured a favorable settlement. Terry was forced to sell our home and move into a smaller one. The weight of her betrayal crushed her, and she eventually sought psychological treatment. As for me, I focused on my work, finding solace in my students. Their energy and innocence reminded me that life still held joy, even after heartbreak. With the support of family and friends, I rebuilt my life in a humble but peaceful new home. Looking back, I realized that the true betrayal wasn't just the affair. It was the erosion of trust, the deceit, and the ease with which she discarded our years together. But through the pain, I emerged stronger. I vowed to never take trust for granted again. This journey was painful, but it led me to a place of peace. And now, I share my story in the hope that others who have been betrayed will find the strength to reclaim their lives, just as I did.